Hey everyone, welcome to our Team Aspire, not Team Pure Results. We were just talking about Team Aspire weekly Zoom meeting. Today's January 13th, so we're doing it a little bit different time this week just because I'm traveling tomorrow, so I wouldn't be able to do it. And then we're kind of generally talking about when we're going to switch our team call to, because a lot of people can't do Thursday evenings. So if you have any input, put it in our Team Aspire group. We definitely want to go over that. We have our New Year, New You challenge group that just started on Monday. It's a team group. If you have anyone to add, you can go ahead and add them now. So if somebody is ready now, don't make them wait to the next group. We have a tentative group starting the 25th. I'm going to get a fill. I'm going to post in Team Aspire and see if people have enough people to form a new group, because if we don't, we might just want to keep the existing group. I think it's better to have a slightly bigger group with a lot of engagement rather than start a new smaller group that doesn't get that full. That way we can just keep putting new people in, maybe make welcome posts like welcome so-and-so to the group. That way it stays really exciting. So we have that going on. We have an Emerald Dash going on right now as well. So if you are an Emerald coach or above, you can join that. There are prizes if you meet certain requirements, so that's really exciting. There's a lot of training type posts in there that would help you. We have the biggest slim down contest coming up. So that starts February 8th. They have to have a workout, Beachbody workout, Shakeology, and a $20 entry fee that you use for the cash prizes. So we don't keep that money for ourselves. We give it to the contestants for the cash prizes who are the winners. There is information in our team group about it. If you are not in the Coaches of the Biggest Slim Down Contest Facebook group, contact me. I will add you. It has all the training on how to specifically promote that. It has all the announcements in there, so you definitely want to join that. The deadline, and I say deadline loosely, to join is January 31st. So we're saying that for Success Club reasons, because we want to make sure everyone orders by the end of January. However, it is a little flexible, so just take into account it's shipping from California. So if you have someone that lives in California and they want to join past that start date, it would definitely get to them in time. So you can kind of make it flexible. Also, if they already have Shakeology and a workout, they can join up through the start date as long as they pay the $20 entry fee. So we have a lot going on with the contest. I've actually so the last contest we had our website go down. I've gotten somebody new to do the web developing. I've been meeting him. I've actually been in Georgia this week. I've met with him twice for like the whole day. And we've been discussing just everything that we're going to do. So it's super exciting. I'm really excited to roll the stuff out once we start seeing stuff. I'm going to need you guys as our team, because we're doing this for the big team. I'm going to need volunteers to test that, because we want to make sure it works. So once it's up, I'll put a post like, who wants to test this? Because we really need different personalities, different people who know how to use the internet, who don't know how to use the internet, who are Facebook savvy, who are Facebook dumb. We need everybody to try it to make sure it works for anybody. So we have that going on too, and I'm really excited about that. We are trying to have as much up and running before the next contest as possible. Worst case scenario, we'll have to do it old school, but we're doing it completely different. So if you saw the weight tracker before, it was just kind of like a table, and that's how we did it. This time there's going to be a customer login. So they'll log in, and it will be kind of like the Team Beachbody site in that they can upload their weigh-in photos, their videos directly to there, so that all the coach has to do is they have a list of contestants. They have to just look at the weigh-in and verify it on the website. So you're not going to have to get texts, emails, all that stuff from your customers and collect it and then go to a separate website. It's all going to be on the website. We're even going to have automatic point tracking on there. So there's going to be a point calculator, so that all they do is get in there. They don't have to do it necessarily on the day, but they report for a day. Click, yes, I did my workout. Yes, I did Shakeology. Yes, I did this. Click, 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 and it automatically adds the points. So they don't even have to track their own points. So we're trying to make it as easy and automated as possible, and all on the website. We're even forming forums on there so that they can interact with each other, and we're not even going to have to run it on Facebook at all. So that's my goal, is that the whole contest is going to be on the website. We don't have to do it on Facebook. You don't have to run a separate group. I don't have to run a group on Facebook for the contestants. I don't have to make announcements. It's just going to be all auto emails saying today's weigh-in day, guys. Don't forget, blah, 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 blah. So I'm so excited because we're trying to make it easy for the coaches, easy for the contestants and the hosts. So because it can be a lot of work. So we want to make that as easy as possible. So we have that all going on. I'm really excited. I could talk all day. We also had a call from Team Pure Results yesterday. So if you didn't catch it, it was amazing. Brad Bizjack is a 5-star diamond coach, and he guest spoke on the call, and he did an amazing job of talking about digging deep, finding your purpose, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't listened to it, you've got to. It's in our message thread and in our group. Hey, Brittany. So I think that's all the announcements. Did anybody have anything else or questions about any of that?
I have a question.
Okay.
You said that we're going to do forums on the website, or that's the route that we're starting to go. Is it going to be like essentially one big challenge group, or is it going to be each coach runs their own forum on the...
What I would like to see, so this is what we were talking about. What I would like to see is that there is a big forum for all sorts of questions for all the contestants, and then each coach will have their own private forum to run. So then that way it can be like a mini challenge group on there. Yeah. My whole thing is just that it's so hard for coaches to run this and do this, and if it's all in one place, it's so much easier. So that's why I'm like, okay, we can message our customers on there, and we can do this, and we can do this all on here. So that's what I keep telling them, like, I just want everything right here, so we don't have to keep running around. So that's the goal. That's the big dream. I'm not sure exactly everything that we can have up and running by February, but eventually that's what we're going to be doing. So that's the direction we're going. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And I definitely want any feedback. If you guys have any ideas, being in the past contests, if you're like, hey, this was a problem, because that's the main thing. Like, we're going to try and solve other problems. If you have any ideas, like, this is what I'd like to see. This is a problem. Let's fix this. Like, this would be great if we could have this. It's just me brainstorming, my husband brainstorming, the developer who's never even been in one of our contests brainstorming from his development side. So any feedback, I'd love that. So, yep. Anything else? Questions? Okay, awesome. So we're going to go to our topic. I have gotten a lot of feedback lately from new coaches and even existing coaches that they're feeling overwhelmed, which is totally normal. So I wanted to kind of make it open discussion time, just as like, okay, what problems are you having with feeling overwhelmed? What has helped you in the past, not feel so overwhelmed, that kind of thing. So I think as far as a new coach, this is one thing Brad Bizjack said in his call. He said that it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose. It's, everything's coming out so fast and you're trying your best, but you can obviously not drink everything that comes out of the fire hose. And it's going to feel overwhelming. And that's kind of how it is for a new coach. And yeah, us existing coaches, I've been a coach for almost 4 years. Sometimes I have to stop and go, okay, I understand that as a new coach, it's like there's a whole new language, Beachbody language to learn. You're like, what's a challenge pack? What's a success partner? What's Success Club? What's a challenge group? What's Shakeology? What's this? What's that? And you're, existing coaches just spit it out and it's normal. But the newer coaches, they kind of get lost and sometimes we forget. So anyway, I really liked what he said about that. But as far as feeling overwhelmed, that's normal when you're a brand new coach. Anything you start, you're going to feel overwhelmed and a little bit lost. And obviously, the more you learn, the easier it gets and the more you'll, catch on. But I did want to kind of see what you guys all, like as far as feeling overwhelmed, what have you felt overwhelmed with in the past or currently are feeling overwhelmed with right now? Like, is it the training? Is it just everything you feel like you need to know? Is it what you're trying to do as far as contacting people? Where are you guys feeling the overwhelming feeling? Anybody?
Well, for me, it gets a little overwhelming for me to keep the two teams separate. Because I feel like Pure Results is on a different schedule than we are. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, oh, now we need to start promoting this. And I'm like, well, we just started doing this. Like, we just started our challenge group. I'm not really ready to do that yet. And, and with the Diamond Dash, not the Diamond Dash, but the Emerald Dash and the 2-star Diamond training, Shannon will say, okay, this is what we need to focus on. And it's like, that's just gets me all confused.
Yeah, it's hard. I know I try to kind of do a lot around her calendar, but then again, I'm like, no, we're
Right.
doing this, and I think it'd be better if we do this. And so we actually,
Yeah.
like, Shannon and I kind of were butting heads, or we weren't fighting, but I had scheduled the contest, and she's like, wait, I thought the contest started this day, and I planned my whole calendar around this. And I'm like, oh, sorry. It, like, like, we weren't fighting, but it was just like, oh man, like, let's see if we can coordinate this, and so it is hard. I can see that. I think that's where you kind of have to, and she says it on her calls this week, but you kind of, this is a basic skeleton, and you don't even have to follow what we're doing. Like, if you want to run your own group, go for it. I'm all for it. We're just doing this as a team to help each other, and it's good to have some kind of structure, because as a new coach, you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what's coming up. I don't know where we're supposed to invite people to. So I think it helps. But yeah, it is hard to do everything. And it's like, I don't want to do everything with them all the time. Like, I wanted to be able to do our own stuff too. So yeah, I can see how that would be confusing.
It might just be me too. So
No, I doubt it. I'm sure it's everybody. What about you, Stacy? Do you feel anything in particular?
I definitely feel overwhelmed sometimes, like when I don't understand what people are talking about. Just like you said about like the beach body lingo, like I'm still trying to learn it all, and that's hard. And then I feel like there's just like always so much going on that I can't keep up with like the both teams and whatnot. And then also like just trying to find who you want to talk to and who you think that would be open and interested in beach body and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that part is always going to be a constant. Like, you always have to constantly talk to people. So, and that way, I think the best thing to do is just stay organized. You just have to stay organized somehow. Like, have a way of tracking people, have a way of knowing who you're talking to, what you've talked about. And it could be on the computer, it could be pen and paper, it could be whatever works best for you. I've tried many different ways. And it seems like there's pros and cons for everything, but it just has to click in your brain. Doesn't have to click in anybody else's. And so this is a conversation I had with Rachel, right? She was trying to conform to a certain thing and it wasn't working out. But so yeah, I think just having some kind of way of organizing things definitely does help. But yeah. And then you have to remember too that as a new coach, there's a lot of things that you're going to learn that after you learn it, you're always going to know it. Like how to sign up a new coach, for instance. Once you know
how to do that.
Yeah. Once you know how, once you've done it a couple times, once you know how, you'll always know. And it's not something you have to relearn, so that part is good. There's going to be a lot of that you're like, oh, okay.
I'm hoping very soon I can learn how to do that very well.
Yeah. Yeah. It just takes doing it,
Yeah.
And just, and being walked through it. And that's fine. And that's what we're willing to do as your mentors and, that kind of thing. You obviously, if we were just to throw you in the pond, go, good luck, it doesn't quite work that way. But Brittany, are you on the phone? Is that you? She might be muted.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
That's me.
Hey, we're discussing what we feel overwhelmed about in the past or currently. Is there anything that you particularly feel overwhelmed about?
Well, trying to get back into the swing of things. I know that I'm really overwhelmed with inviting and trying to get, the invitations out and doing everything and trying to make a schedule. It is overwhelming to try and catch up with everything. But just one day at a time, one challenge, one thing at a time, and that's kind of challenging for me because I want to play catch up, and I have to focus on one thing or else I go crazy.
Yeah. But I think too, that you don't necessarily have to catch up to everything you missed the last couple of months. Just like draw a line in the sand, start from today, just move forward. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to catch everything up. There's a lot of things that don't even apply. It's just, just go from today, move forward. Like, okay, look to the future. Like, what are we going to be doing the next couple of weeks? Just promote, and you've done it. I've seen you promoting the Biggest Slim Down contest. So, just focus on the important things, and I think that helps a lot. And then you said too, schedule. I think that's huge. Having some kind of schedule where you are, I know Shannon talks a lot about like blocking out your business hours. which honestly, my business hours change day by day, and I never really know what it's going to be like. Because I'm like, oh, baby's sleeping. This is my power hour time. It's not like at a certain specific time sometimes, but I mean, you can go ahead and try and schedule it, and if that works, great. But if it doesn't, you just kind of find that time. But I think a big thing, and I talked to Brittany about that this week or last week on our call. I used to, so when my husband left, I was like, okay, I'm going to make this work. Well, I'm talking when he was deployed, not left me, but when he was deployed, I was like, okay, throw myself into the business, and 24/7, I'm just going to work. And I drove myself literally crazy because I never gave myself a break. I was always constantly checking messages or commenting on things. And I figured out after a couple months of like just being like driven crazy because I was just exhausted. I'm like, okay, I've got to find a time where for a couple hours I just put my phone away, put the computer away, just say I'm not answering messages, I'm not doing anything Beachbody related. I'm focusing on my family because I was doing like 5 minutes here, like between math lessons. Oh, I'll answer a couple messages. And then, I finished dinner and, we're not ready to eat yet. And someone's in the shower. I'll do this for 10 minutes. And so I was like doing it here and there, instead of like an hour all at once. And that was what was driving me crazy. So I think, just having a time where you're going to do it just all at once, or even snippets, but not necessarily in between everything in your life. So that's all you do all day long. So that's because that's what it feels like. You're doing Beachbody all day long. And you're like, oh, it drives you crazy.
Right.
And I used to think, oh, I'll get so much more done. But it's like your brain's scattered because you're like, oh, do this. No, and, you're going in all different directions instead of being focused for a specific amount of time. So I think that really helps too. That's what's helped me anyway, because I tend to go crazy. I always have a lot going on. But anyone else have anything that's worked for them as far as resisting the overwhelmed feeling or solving that somehow?
I think just like you said, you just have to walk away at some point. Just walk away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Focus on what's most important, what's going to get you results the most. So do your new conversations, your invites, and your follow-ups, and then walk away. Then come back and check your challenge groups and post on your personal Facebook page and messages and all that. Do that later, but do the inviting first, because that's the one thing. The conversations and the invitations are what's really going to move you forward.
Yeah.
So, so like I have a brand new coach on my team who just signed up, and she was feeling overwhelmed as well. And I basically just told her, do your workout, drink your Shakeology, post about it, and invite 3 people each day. That's your focus in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll slowly be able to follow up with the people you're messaging naturally, and it won't really seem so overwhelming. But when you get, like for me, if I get behind or if I think I'm behind, then I'll like message 10 people at a time, and that feels overwhelming to me. So if you can keep it 3 to 5 people each day, do your 3 invites, do your 3 new messages, do your 3 whatever follow-ups, and then be done, and not stress about, oh, well, if I just did 2 more or 3 more, that would be better.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have to, some days you might feel like Superwoman and do 10, 15 and be fine. But then other days you're just like, I'm just going to get my 3 and then be done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. And I think that's where it's really important to work closely with your sponsor or your mentor or whoever it is that's helping you, that's been there longer and knows what to do, because then they can focus you, be like, okay, this is what you need to be doing, and they've done it longer. So just kind of trust that that's the way it is. And so they'll say, okay, all this stuff is nice, but this is the really important stuff. So this
That's
is
what Angie did to me. That's what Angie used to do when I was working my full-time job. I'd be like, all right, seriously, I don't know where to even focus right now. So she would tell me, okay, do this and start there. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, because you had 30 minutes to do your business every day. So
yeah, and that was with an unsupportive husband at the time. So it was like I couldn't even do it at home. I had to do it like on my drive home from work. So now it's much better.
Yeah. So yeah, I think so. What about you, Brittany? Anything that's worked for you in the past as far as not feeling overwhelmed anymore?
Um, I noticed that once I started, like, this was before I started working again, but once I started to actually get, like, motivated and get into the groove of inviting people, it was easier. Um, so I think that, because I started getting confident and I was okay with getting the no's, every now and then all of a sudden, like, trying to jump back in from having my job and just having that no, it's just kind of like, oh, it's heartbreaking. But I think that what helped me a lot was having a successful, success partner. That really helped a lot. Like my friend Danny, she's currently dealing with some things right now, so we haven't really done anything or talked to each other, but having a success partner in the past has really helped out a lot, because then we can be like, oh, well, what did you do today? How many people did you invite, and what type of things can we do to improve things? So I think that's also really helpful, is having somebody to help you push you along and have that success partner as you go through it.
Awesome. So Stacy, I know you're new. So success partner, it's kind of like a workout buddy for your business. So you kind of like report in for each other, push each other along, you like hold each other accountable. So sometimes, like your success partner could be like, okay, you haven't done anything for a couple of days, come on, like, so they're there to kind of, tell it to you straight sometimes. So it depends on the relationship, but it could be, pretty much anybody on our team and one on a different team, somebody that's got the same goals as you. They don't even have to be the same rank. It just has to be someone who's just as, as driven as you are, so that you can push each other. You don't want someone that's like, it's a hobby, and if you're a business builder, that's not really going to work. So that's basically what a success partner is. So, yeah, I love that. That's so true, because if you have somebody to work with, then you push each other farther. That's a great point. So, what about you, Stacy? Is there anything else that, I know you're brand new, so is there anything else that you're feeling overwhelmed about that we could help you with, or?
I don't know. I just have like myself that I'm overwhelmed with, because my husband's like, you need to get this going or quit, and I'm like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
So
Same here, Stacey. You're not alone.
Yeah, I think Brittany's having that too.
Yes, I am.
So we all
they
have
just
to show.
don't understand.
Yeah. I don't think they understand how hard it is. They're like,
Or that it
okay,
has great potential. It just takes a little bit.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So just tell them, I think one thing that helps, that I've heard anyway, is that, say, give me 3 months, let me go, full force for 3 months, and then we'll reevaluate or whatever, just tell them to give you a specific time period or whatever. I mean, everyone's different, but that might work. So, but like Rachel said, I mean, her husband really didn't want her to do it, and she couldn't do anything at home, and now he's fully on board. So
Yeah, and I quit my job in October, and my business plummeted in October. And so this is just when it's starting to pick up in January. So my husband keeps telling me, I believe in you. I know it's going to pick up, but could you move it along a little faster? Like, that's where he's at right now. So it's good. But it did take him 10 months for him to come around to be even the littlest bit supportive. So I know how you feel.
yeah.
He's like a little supportive, but he's mostly just like, I'm not seeing anything yet, so it's not doing anything.
Yeah. Oh, that's hard. But I think that's where you need to share, like, oh, so and so asked me about this today, or she's thinking about signing up as a coach, or that kind of thing, because then that's something, not just a big fat zero in the bank. So then you're like, oh, I found this person and they're asking about this, and maybe sharing that and being excited about it, because then that'll make them excited. So
yeah, I do always try and tell him that, and it helps a little bit. And then he'll be like, well, did they sign up? And I'm like, no. He goes, well, then it doesn't do any good. I'm like,
but it's progress.
I'm trying.
like, she will, I know she will. It's just a matter of when. But yeah, So, but once you start getting something, then I'm sure it'll help too.
Yeah, definitely.
But anything else, Brittany, that you want to add or ask or?
No, I think that determination is a big part of it. You know, and the Emerald Dash group, you know, there was a thing where we had to post our why in a video, and I think that you know, finding your why and digging down deep, you know, I finally found my why this morning as I was doing my video, because you have to dig deep in order to have that why, in order to have that motivation and that determination.
Mm-hmm.
So you find that why, you know, stick it somewhere where you can see it and read it every single day, or video yourself with it, you know, telling everybody what your why is, and really get to the bottom of why you want to do this business, why you want to be successful, and what has gotten you to motivate you to get there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I loved your video, by the way. And that's one thing.
Thank you.
That Brad Bizjack, going to his call again, he goes through like kind of a step thing where he's like, okay, why are you doing this? And then ask you, well, you know, he like goes way deep into it. So you've got to listen to it and actually do it. I was sitting there going, oh wow, I've never actually gone this deep into it before. Yeah. And I think it's a really good exercise, because then it really, like you said, you get like way down there to the roots, and that's what you need to do. And it's usually something that's really emotional. I mean, it will really like pull at your heartstrings, and you're like, okay, that's definitely it. So definitely listen to that call and do that, because that will really help. So that when you
that's how I found my wife. So
yeah. So then in those moments when you are feeling overwhelmed, then you're like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. Oh yeah. So then you go and get off your little booty and do it anyway when you're feeling overwhelmed or tired. So yeah, good point. Anything to add, Rachel? You were gonna say something?
Sorry. I think that it helps to have a planner. So it doesn't matter what planner you have, as long as it works for you, but it really helps, for one, to keep track of, I feel like, the millions of calls we have between Team Pure Results, our team, National Wake Up Call, whatever training group you're in, and all these different calls, which that in itself I get overwhelmed with.
Mm-hmm.
And you can keep track of that. You can keep track of people who say, no, not right now. You'll have somewhere to put them, like put them on the calendar for March or whatever, just write their name down. And so when March comes in your calendar, you have their name there and you're like, oh yeah, let me check in with them. You know, and so it's real easy like that. It's also easy to block out your workouts and your personal development, to write down any scheduled phone calls you have with people. That it all helps. So if that works for you, if you can get a planner and try it, it might get you a little bit more organized, so it's not so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the calls. That was one thing I really remember. Like, Shannon's great about posting all these things that are great that she listened to and sharing, but then I would be like, oh my gosh, I've got all these things to listen to. Like, she'll post 3-4 things a day for you to listen to, which is awesome, but you don't feel like you have to listen to everything. Like, look at the topic and see if it's something that interests you, and if it isn't, you can put it on the back burner for later. Like, keep a file of them when you have time or when you're traveling or whatever, but don't feel like you have got to listen to everything, because it is very, very overwhelming. So yeah, I think the main thing is, you know, if you're going to listen to any of the calls, listen to maybe this one first, because we have our own little team. We've got announcements and things like that, and that's helpful. And then, you know, the National Wake Up Calls are good, but they keep an archive of them. So if you don't have the time, you can go back later. Don't feel like we even have a archive in our Team Aspire group in the files. So if you miss it, you can always go back. Like, I have them going until last December, so December 2013. So we've got all of them on there if you are dying to listen to them, or you're looking for a specific topic. But don't feel like you have to listen to everything or do absolutely everything. I miss things all the time, and then I make up for it later. Like, I listened to 3 National Wake Up Calls from December all at once on my drive here to Atlanta, because I got behind. So yeah, I mean, you don't feel like you've got to keep up. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Because we're running out of time. Oops. No.
Maybe if we just post a little more in our group about sort of like those check-in points in our group, like, oh, I messaged my 3 people today, or I had a really good conversation with somebody who's a good potential client or potential coach or something like that. And that way, maybe people seeing that who are struggling, maybe it will help them get their mindset a little bit better, and so that they feel like, oh, okay, I can do this. So I don't know, maybe if we just post, I feel like we just need to post more in our group in general.
Yeah, I think so. But that helps you, Stacy, to kind of see what we're doing and conversations we're having. I don't know.
Yeah, it would definitely help, because then they'd be like, oh, I should do that too, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I forget, like, what I'm supposed to do all day.
Yeah, I know. I remember as a new coach, like, I'd sit in front of my computer and be like, okay, I know I should be doing something important.
But I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I understand.
I was like that too, and I was just telling Angie, I redid the business tracker that Shannon created because I couldn't follow what Shannon created, and it was too confusing for me. So last night I sat down and I made my own, and I'm like, oh, I can breathe. Now when I sit down, I have a checklist to work off of. I know what to do, and I'm just going to do it. So, and also I think it will help, Stacey, for you to see me and Angie and Melitha, us who've been coaches for a little bit longer, say, oh, I contacted someone. She said she was we made an appointment for today, and she never answered.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, just answer the phone.
Yeah.
So often, like, come on, we just made this appointment. Why are you not answering? So we go through it too. So
yeah. Well, I think it's helpful. Like, I love seeing what, the big Star Diamond people are doing, because then you're like, oh, well, that's all she's doing. I can do that too. You know what I mean? Like, that's not impossible. And you kind of think that they're maybe getting people just coming to them, or, like, you see that well, first of all, they are working for it. Second of all, oh, I can do that. That's not a huge number of people, just 5 a day, or, so I think that that's helpful too.
Are you, Stacey, I don't think I'm friends with you on Facebook. Are you posting a lot each day on Facebook about workouts and struggles and
I don't do like every day, but I try and do at least like a few times a week.
You should do it every day, like 3 to 5 times a day, because when you start doing
only about fitness, but 3 to 5 times a day, just in general, about life.
But you need, and the reason why I say that is because I just had one of my friends from college who I have not talked to since college, which I graduated 10 years ago. So she messaged me and said, hey, I want to start working out with my husband. I have this stuff going on. We want to do cardio, but I can't do a lot of cardio. We want to do Turbo Fire. Do you think that's okay? I was like, not really. But how about T25? So then she messaged me today and was like, yes, we're going to do T25. Can you send me the link? And so I sent her the link today, and hopefully she bought it. I don't know if she did. I have to go check. But just from seeing me post, she knew who to come to ask questions like that. Mm-hmm. So if you're only posting a few times a week, it's not as relevant to them as if you're doing it every day. And if you do it every day, then you'll gain more traction faster. And I think you'll have a little bit more success with people wanting to actually join you.
Yeah. And I think that's where it helps to watch, like, what, some other people in our team are doing that have been doing it longer. Because then you get ideas. I mean, you don't necessarily want to do the same thing every day. Like, here I am, sweaty selfie every day. That gets a little, like, you have to kind of be creative. But yeah, having something. And I try not to, like, so what I do is I try to post 3 times a day. 1 about health and fitness, and then 2 other times about something else, because you don't want to annoy your friends to death.
Yeah.
So
I want to like post my transformation pictures, but I didn't lose my weight with Beachbody.
That's okay.
That's okay. You still have before and after photos. You still did the work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if that people would be like, then what are you promoting because you didn't lose your weight with Beachbody?
No, I mean, you can still say I lost this weight, you know, I became a Beachbody coach. Now I'm doing this and I love this. It would have been so much easier if I'd had a meal plan, blah, 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 you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Tie it in that way, you know, you don't have to lie and say I did Beachbody and lost all this weight, but you still lost the weight. You know?
Yeah.
So that was you.
You still achieved something that they are looking for still.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, having done something else, you know, you learned a one way and you're doing this another way for a reason, you know. So I think that that's great. I would totally do that.
Okay.
Good
I
question.
feel like that might be some head turners.
Yes. Because I haven't seen it. I want to see.
Okay, I'll post it.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, well, we have 1 minute. Does anyone else have anything to add? Any other quick questions? No? Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us live. I love this open discussion thing. I think we should do more of them. It's nice to have more than just one person. Yes, exactly. I know. I was like, I don't have to prepare anything. Just have to go and talk. Okay, so thank you guys for catching the recording or live. We're going to be discussing about when we can do our next call, just to fit everybody's schedule, hopefully. But yeah, check that out and send us any questions if you have any. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.